My name is Sergeant Ty Mike. Been here for almost 22 years. I'm in charge of the Street Crimes Unit and also in charge of the K-9 unit.
My name's Officer Nicholas Herbster. I'm the newest member of the K-9 unit.
Well, the K-9 unit, I've been on it since 2004. They're a vital part of what we do every day. It's another tool that we're able to utilize like any other tool that we have. So we use them in a various environments, various amount of different tasks, anything like that. I mean, they could go from, searching for a missing child, elderly person, something like that, or making an apprehension on a felony suspect. They locate narcotics. Some of them, though, the one K-9 that we have actually is an explosive K-9. So he would search for explosives. They search for articles. They do tracking. They do all kinds of things. Basically, what it comes down to is they can do a lot of things that we can't do as human officers. They have the capabilities to be able to do that stuff, and where we just can't. And a lot of times when they do it, they're doing it in such a quick fashion and more safely than we could ever do it also. So it would take probably 7 officers to do the same thing one K-9 team can do in a matter of a quarter of the time. We have training every month, twice a month. We have a mandatory 16 hours a month. So it is continuous. We start off with a dog that has no initial training at all, other than can do some apprehension work, just because that's basically what they start with when they're puppies. And that's just more of a play. That's more of a game to them. And then as they get older, you sort of look for certain characteristics, genetics, traits, drives, and then from there, that's where I go down and I pick these K-9s, and then from there, they go through 4 to 5 months of training, and then once they're done with that, our handlers will go down for 4 weeks and do an initial handler school. And then when they come back, because of the fact a lot of times the city environment is a lot different than what they're training in, I basically run them through anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks of additional training here in the city, getting used to city environment, different things that they're going to see, and more or less a scenario-based type training instead of your normal training that you would normally do. Officer Herbster was able to go down to his 4 weeks, came back with me, and obviously he could be the first one to tell you that real world working / training is a lot different than what you do when you do your first handler's course. When I go down to the vendor to evaluate the dogs that we're looking at, I'm looking for certain drives, certain characteristics. We're also looking at some of their genetics, like where they came from, their background, things like that. But most of it comes down to drives and what that dog does at that initial time that I evaluate them, what they actually can do at that point, and whether or not that I can look at that dog and see some of the drives that we want that will actually end up being what we need in our patrol / search dogs. All the K-9s go home to us. They live with our families just like any other dog would. These dogs, most of the ones you'll see have an on and off switch. So when they're at work, they know they're at work and it's all business. When it comes down to home life, they interact with our children, they interact with our other dogs, they interact with our families. They're just a normal house dog. They don't do anything different than your dog or anybody else's dog that has one at their home. I have several dogs at the house, so I have several. Officer Herbster, I know he has several. They just integrate themselves. We just basically get them accustomed like you would any other dog. You just want to throw the dog into the house. You want to acclimate that dog and get that dog used to the pack, the new family pack structure that they're going to go into, and that's what we do. And they usually, for the most part, they end up being well accepted, and things are very good for the dog. It's been a blessing, and I feel in my whole heart that I am a blessed man to be able to do what I do and be able to work a dog like I do. Well, we're able to be attached with and fortunate enough to have somebody that funds it for us. the HKC K-9 Foundation, I was able to get in contact, or they got in contact with me. We were able to get some kind of a relationship going, and ever since 2010, we've been pretty much everything that we need to fund our K-9 unit, other than vehicles, is all funded through the HKC K-9 Foundation. So the city is basically not having to purchase the dogs, the food, the vet care, any other essentials that the dogs may need. I like a dog just like you and I would want. I wouldn't want you or myself, we wouldn't want to retire and all of a sudden be, our last, we only have several months left or less than a year left. What I like to do is I like to look at the dog, and obviously health is a big factor of it. So I look at their health, and if I think that the dog cannot keep themselves safe and keep the citizens safe and us safe as handlers, and they may hurt themselves, or they're just at that edge where, they need to be retired because of the fact, if not, something could happen or they wouldn't live a nice long retirement life, then that's usually how I decide that.
K-9 Keystone, he'll be 2 years old here in 2 weeks. He comes from Poland. He's a Belgian Malinois. He's a patrol. He does patrol work and narcotics work. He's a very friendly dog. He does great at the house, but when he's working, he goes 100%. He loves what he does. He loves to track, find drugs. It's just overall, he's a very balanced dog, and he does great work.